All right, welcome everyone. So, this is the start of a race that I ran on Memorial Weekend. Like I said, normally I only run like the holiday races, and this one's already underway. And so, I started way back in the field because when I was qualifying, um, the truck got loose coming out of the tri-oval. That's what this little kind of dog leg here is called. It's called a tri-oval. And when I came out of that, I got a little close to the wall, and then I tried to come back on down towards this double or this little white line, and the truck spun out. And so I ended up ruining my qualification run. And so this is Charlotte, North Carolina, where they run the Coke 600, the longest race of the year. Now, they run, 3 or 4 different series here. Now, the Infinity cars kind of do okay. The NASCAR, the main event cars, I don't really do that well in it. And but for some, and then I think they run an ARCA series here as well. But the Friday night race is the truck race, and so I always seem to be fast in the trucks. I don't know why I'm fast in the trucks. Again, these are just digital things on the screen. They're not really trucks. But, for some reason, my driving style meets this. And it's kind of funny. We had a truck years ago when I was, still working in my career. We had this old white truck that was like a, I don't know, 10-speed, 12-speed transmission or something. And everyone hated that truck. And they hated driving it because it was slow. And, they would say, man, that thing won't get out of its own way. And and it was an older truck. It was a reserve truck, and we ended up getting it. And the more modern day trucks that we had at the time were fast. And so anytime you went somewhere and you ran a call, you always seemed like you got there last, and it's just very frustrating to do a job like that and get there. You feel like you're getting there late. You want to get there when all the action is popping off. And so, but when I would drive that truck, everybody would say, "Man, how do you get so much speed out of that thing?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And it had something to do with the way the transmission was geared, and just my driving style, how I shifted it. And I think however you shifted it it was like really one way to get speed out of that truck. And it was just pure luck that it just happened to match my driving style. You get your RPM set correctly before you go into each gear. And some people learn to drive by watching a tachometer. Me, I'm like the same way I learned how to play music. And I never really did learn, but what little that I did learn on a wind instrument and the guitar, I played by ear. And I played the pan flute as well for a while, and the regular flute. And I learned the flute so I could learn how to play the saxophone because the fingering is the same. Yeah, I got really boned on that deal, right? Because I thought that I'll learn how to play the flute, because one day I'll get a saxophone, and instead of practicing on an expensive saxophone, I'll practice on an inexpensive flute. And so then one day when I get a sax, I'll be good to go. Well, the joke was on me because my ass could never afford a saxophone, so I just end up playing the flute. You go to a club somewhere and they're like, "Are you the bouncer?" Like, "Nah, man, I'm the flute player." Like, son of a bitch. So that's how life is sometimes. And so you want to like hit your marks and be, perfect every time. And I'm not really a great qualifier, even if I have a really fast vehicle, because I'm always just nervous, to try to hit the marks every time. I guess, maybe if I race more, maybe I would do a little bit better. But like I said, I only race the big races. I do iRacing like people, good at church, you know, for the big holidays. So it's pretty much the same way. But you can see I'm marched up through the field here, and I'm like running seventh. And these are kind of short races, so you really have to get on and you have to get up on the wheel and and really put it. But I like these trucks because I run off the right rear tire, and what that means is when I go into a corner, I kind of like do the bump. I throw that right rear out, and I can feel that I'm riding on that right rear tire, and you try not to do that too often because you burn it out. But if you can get in a good rhythm, you'll end up saving your tires. And so the trucks at Charlotte for me really allows me to throw that right rear, and I drive up off the corner with the right rear, and that's where I maintain my speed. Again, these are just digital projections on a monitor. I mean, there's no truck there, but for some reason it has the ability to trick your brain to really make you think. And again, the angle that you're seeing now is not what I see when I'm driving. I'm actually in the vehicle, in the helmet, and looking out through the windshield. So visibility is limited to just whatever you can see out of the left window, right window, and the front window. And so you can see that there's I made my way all the way up to fourth place, and the leader, I mean, he's been picking them up, putting them down, the entire race. I think that guy led the entire time, but I'm like 2 or 3 tenths faster than all of these trucks, and that's pretty common for me at Charlotte in the trucks. And so no matter where I start, I usually do well in this truck. Again, different tracks agree with different people. So this is the second place person that I'm passing right there. And I've been basically flat out the entire time. So I basically keep my foot on the gas, and whenever I get into the corner, I don't ever lift off the gas. What I do is I touch the brake so the RPMs stay high, and when I get into the corner, when I first get in the corner and I turn the wheels, I tap the brakes, and then I lay on the brakes to kind of maintain that control. But I don't lift off the gas, and a lot of people, you can hear them, lifting off the gas when they're going into the corners, and I think that's where I'm making a time up, because I don't lift off the gas. And so you do a lot of cornering with the brake pedal in a lot of these races. The people who do it best are the people who are really good on road courses, and this would be considered an oval. And so anyway, so here I am. The laps are winding down. I don't know where we're at. And I don't really try to watch the laps too much because it throws me off my concentration. So I just run each lap until I see the checker flag. So, I don't know if we got 5 to go or anything like that in a lot of these races, because I just really try to concentrate. And of course, as you go, your tires start to wear out. Now, I came up through the field, and so I've really been burning my tires. But at the same time, I think the way I drive seems to save my tires in the truck. Now, I could try to do the same thing with the actual NASCAR, the one that I won Daytona in last year in December, and I can't get that car to do anything on this track. I always run like 17th or something like that, and in the Infinity car is the same way. Everything that I run, I just can't get that type of speed out. So back to why with the truck, I don't know. And you can see I'm still running the mom scheme here. I ran it in Daytona. It was the first time, and then my mom passed earlier in the year or this year. And so so I'm just going to run it for whatever holidays. That's the only time I really have time for it. And I'll run the scheme for the rest of this year. Then I'll be done with it. And but so I caught this guy, and I'm working on him. So he must have been laying back a little bit because after I caught him, now clearly I caught him, but I'm trying to pass him. One, he's not letting me pass. I mean, he's making that truck very wide, and there's only so many places you can pass. I mean, if you just watch the race, you would think, hey, why don't you just go around to the right? Well, you dart out to the right and go towards that wall. That wall's going to suck you in, right? You get close to it. Next thing you know, because you're going, 100, I don't know, 180 miles an hour, and even though it doesn't look like it, but you feel it when you're inside the truck and you go into these corners. And just to go say, oh, why don't you just go high and go around them? No. Once you start going above that little line right there, it gets really slippery up there, especially at those speeds. So you try to stay in the groove. And where I have been running, he is blocking that path. So everything that I did to get up to this point by passing all those cars, that guy is now taking my line away from me, and I can't pass him. Even though I believe I'm faster than him, but I'm having a hard time passing him. Now, I don't know what type of battle that he was in earlier that made him use up his tires, right? You just don't know. You can go back and watch the race at the end. And I didn't use a lot of my tires up because I just, I was fast, so I just kind of went around people. I didn't battle people. And when you get into battling people like I am now, that's when your tires start to wear out because you're not running the line where your truck is happiest, right? There's a perfect line. Oh man, that dude caused me to get into the wall. Now I'm burned up. So if I can get back to his bumper, I'm going to try to put the bumper on him, get him out of his way, because now he's caused me, by blocking me, to go into that wall, and I was laying off him. Up there, let's just think of marbles as being putty. Kids putty and making a bunch of little marbles out of putty and then rolling them out there. Of course, when your tire goes there, you get those marbles on your tire, so then it throws your balance off, and so it makes it hard to handle the vehicle. So again, I try to go high and try to pass him, but his truck's pretty fast too because I couldn't go past him. I got along. I didn't even get alongside of him actually. I went high, and so I just floored it, and so did he. So he was able to hold me off because, again, his freaking truck is fast. How he has that much grip in his tires. Whoa, almost got into me. I don't know. Maybe he just led the whole time, and he had an easy way, and he didn't have anybody challenging him since the beginning of the race. I have to go back and look. But you can see me now. I'm trying to get close to his bumper. So if I can get close going down this straightaway when we go into the turn, I'm going to try to see if I can tap him a little bit, and that way it'll send him high up the track. But I'm not trying to wreck him though. You don't want to do that. And you want to make sure if you tap him, you want to make sure that he goes up the track and he can't come back down and crash you, because these guys will crash you if they think they can do it and get away with it if you won't pass him. But see, he went high. He was probably carrying too much speed, and once you start doing that, it's hard to bring your truck back down to try to side draft me, maybe try to slow me up. And so I ended up winning that race. I passed him on the last lap. You can see here at the bottom, first position right there. Sorry, I couldn't get that to come up there. So that was a good race. I'm not surprised. I've won this race many times. I have won it in the NASCAR, not that often though. No other cars have I won at. I think this track, running the trucks, is probably where I have won the majority of my races. And again, it just comes down to However, this digital truck is designed, it really just matches my driving style, just like that white truck that I used to drive where people hated it, they couldn't get any speed out of it, but I could get tons of speed out of it, just match my driving style. So again, I still can't figure out how a digital projection on the screen um, can affect a person that way. Why can't I just, you figure if I can drive this truck like that, if it becomes a car, how different could it actually be? But it is. It's completely different. Um, there is a track I can't remember. There's a track that I will not run the trucks at. I think it might be. It's Michigan. I won't run the trucks in Michigan. I cannot keep that truck down. I spin out every time. I don't know what it is at Michigan. One, it's one of the faster tracks where the motor's not governed, meaning they don't try to control the speed. You can go as fast as you want. Not like Daytona where they govern those trucks down so they don't go over 200 miles an hour, even though they can go faster than that. But Michigan doesn't allow that. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy that, and I hope you guys enjoy the holiday. I'll see you. Ciao.